Hey everybody, welcome to the Facerocker Podcast, episode 87. I'm Dez Dolly hosting this week. I am joined by Rocket Jump regulars, Will Campos, Cherish Chen, and Jon Karmen of Ruby Dog Movies. We talk about Rocket Jump's latest field trip to the AMC Burbank, where we saw Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, latest entry, the fifth film in the series. We also get into our week down at VidCon in Anaheim that just wrapped, and some of the other videos, podcasts, film school extravaganzas, what have you. So stick around for that. I've got a couple announcements to get out of the way before we dig into the podcast. We are going down to Austin, Texas this week for the Rooster Teeth Expo, and we got a couple of events, meetups, what have you, and we want to see you guys down there. So here's the lowdown. Friday, August 7th from 2 to 3:30. We've got signing time. Everyone's going to be down there, especially Freddie. We're going to be in the JW Marriott, second floor in what's called Griffin Hall. So come out and see us, get some of your stuff signed. Anyone down there in Austin and the surrounding areas. We're also going to be doing a stage show at the Super Fight Center stage from 4:30 to 5:30. And that's probably just going to be Freddie, so come on out for that as well. Saturday at 11:30 a.m., we're going to have a huge Rocket Jump State of the Union panel. That's going to be in ACC Room 16. That's going to be myself, Freddie, Ben, our podcast producer, Benji, Kate, and Lauren Hartunian from the film school. We're going to be talking about the Hulu show, our next big video game high school follow-up. Not more seasons of Video Game High School, I should clarify, but our show that's coming out after that, which has sort of not necessarily been announced yet. It's sort of top secret. We're going to be talking about that and film school and just answering fan questions and stuff like that, so come on out. Then last event on the agenda is a Rooster Teeth editing panel, and that's going to be with Freddie and Lauren, and that's in Hilton Room 400, 2 p.m., Saturday, August 8th, down in Austin, Texas. And then if you guys just want to come by, hang out, pick up some swag, some merchandise, get it signed, we're going to have a booth all weekend, and we're all going to be hanging out there Sunday, August 9th. So come out, see us, have a good time. And without further ado, let's talk about Mission Impossible on today's Facerocker Podcast, episode 87. To get into some of the meat of the podcast, I guess, we were going to mention VidCon and thank any of you listening who came down to see us down there.
Yeah, it was a great
bought
time.
any of the merch. I know we were all down there. John, you were down there filming. Did you get to meet any of the fans, or were you guys busy filming?
There was one person who knew I directed Ball Pit, and I was very appreciative.
Really?
Oh, that's cool. What did they say?
How did
So
that
cool.
encounter go?
Oh, gosh.
I really liked Ball Pit. Thanks, man. Awkward turnaways, you know?
Yeah.
I was willing to have a full conversation, but I think you felt a little nervous, you know?
Yeah, there's
No,
a lot
that's
of that,
nice.
but that's okay.
I usually have I'm with Matt and Freddie, and a kid will walk up, or with you.
Yeah.
A kid will walk up with a Sharpie and a T-shirt or a poster, and they clearly want Matt and Freddie to sign it. And then they look at me, we lock eyes, and I can tell that they're disappointed that they feel they must then offer me the option to sign their
you need to
swag,
sign
but
the-
they don't really want me to screw it up.
Yeah.
And then it gets awkward because I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't want to
yeah.
screw it up.
Yeah.
But this is the first VidCon actually at Comic-Con I had some fans there as well. But this VidCon, because I've been there 4 or 5 times now, kids actually just approach me
Yeah.
with some merch
Like
and
90s
say,
commercial,
"Hey,
maybe?"
Dez,
Yeah.
I mean, people still don't know who the hell I am. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Maybe they're
come
just
on.
they're getting older and they
I'm
have
like
more
brand
manners
new
now.
Here. They have no idea.
Yeah. Well, what were you guys doing down there? The film school was down at VidCon
Yeah.
as well. What did you guys think? What were you up to?
It was awesome. It was kind of like my first official VidCon. I'd gone like 2 years ago to see Will play as Voxel.
Oh, that's right.
The
They
resident
didn't-
No,
dad.
Voxel this year.
We didn't
Yeah,
get
resident
booked
dad
this year.
band.
Yeah, the
that
Dad
is-
Rock
that
band
is-
did
that was
not make it
fired.
this year.
It was all
Yeah.
12-year-olds.
Fired dad band. But this year I went and it was, you know what? I thought it was actually pretty well organized. I have
Absolutely.
nothing to compare against, but yeah, I thought it was, it wasn't as
you guys
insane
got
or
some
anything
film
like
school
that.
fans coming down and talking.
Yeah,
to you,
it was
right?
really cool. That was the coolest
Yeah,
part.
Vimeo Studio had you guys by. They had Matt and Freddie and I come by.
yeah, you had a panel
Yeah,
too,
do
yeah.
some professional panels. We did some
Yeah.
interviews, and we got to meet fans and play video games. So
Yeah, the fans were the coolest part. Or just we were asking a lot of the film school students like, "Oh, what was your favorite video?" The cabling video got a lot of
the highly
shout outs.
controversial-
Very controversial
yeah,
cabling video where Dama accidentally said never use over under, to which we have a correction happening. So not a correction, but like an addendum or something.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it was cool.
And you guys recorded a podcast down there too. That's going to be coming out soon, right?
Yes, we recorded a podcast on the Fire Talk stage, so that'll be coming out.
Excellent. And John, you were down there filming as well, right?
Yep.
Filming it this week at?
Yep. We got another kind of a follow up to the Jimmy video that we did
last year.
And it's dark, man. It's gonna.
Oh no.
It's gonna.
It's a true Ruby Dog production.
It's gonna be a pretty soul crushing video for anyone who's a fan of.
But
Jimmy.
that's coming out in a couple of weeks because you're finishing up something else now that will.
Yes. John's got a 1-2 punch of just killer,
Sadness.
epic, emotionally destructive and devastating, but ultimately uplifting.
This new one physically destructive. I mean, a lot of people get killed.
Absolutely, we don't want to even talk. We were talking before the podcast, so we don't like talking about your stuff until it's like ready to drop. And since you're not quite finished, we'll just kind of leave it there. But
just keep checking.
Something rad's coming soon.
Keep checking Rocket Jumps 1 and 2, and something's going to come out soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what else is going on? I know we basically took the whole company to go see a movie last night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's all that happened this week. We've been writing, and then last night we went and seen Mission Impossible.
I want you to choose your next words very carefully. Where is Hunt?
We've never met before, right?
Follow me.
Reggie. Ethan, where are you?
The Syndicate is real. A rogue nation trained to do what we do.
An anti-IMF.
You want to bring down the Syndicate? It's impossible.
Desperate times. Desperate measures.
You got your seatbelt on? You asking me that now?
Oh my God!
What did you guys think of that movie last night?
MI5.
What is it? Rogue Nation.
Rogue Nation.
There's no 5 in it. It's just Mission Impossible Rogue Nation.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I always just feel that it was great.
What's that, John?
There were moments where I was just had a big grin on my face and could not have been having a better time. But all these action movies, by the end, I just feel so exhausted. Like they always like run out of ideas and steam by the ending. Very few, aside from like Mad Max, which like ends on just like the highest note possible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Most actually like Ultron, like I was having a blast with Ultron, but then by the end I was like kind of check my watch, and
I was a bit exhausted. Yeah. It was fun. We had a good time though.
Yeah.
It was a fun and funny movie.
I'd love to bring up something I just realized. That I really liked about Mission Impossible. Sort of spoiler alert, very spoiler alert, but whatever. There's a part where like Tom Cruise is like face to face, or he's talking with the main bad guy, and he's like, when next time I see you, I'm gonna put you in a box. And so it's supposed to be like,
ooh, I'm gonna
murder you and put you in a coffin. But at the very end, he literally puts him in a box, and it didn't hit me till I was driving home. I was like, oh,
He literally put him in a
taking
box.
a big slurp of orange juice while he's driving, just wakes up in a cold sweat.
Do you think people are big fans of the Mission Impossible franchise? Are you guys fans?
I'm
of
a
the
big
Mission Impossible
fan.
franchise? Or are people
Cherish-
going to see because of Tom Cruise?
No.
And he's still a huge movie star. No.
No,
I would say,
I would agree. I think most people are Tom Cruise fans, general audiences.
Yeah.
Because it looks like a big action spy movie. Whatever, you're gonna get like a ton of locations and it looks cool and action.
Right.
I grew up on the Mission Impossible shows because of my mom, the old classic ones. So they're like my James Bond.
Yeah, we were talking about this
Yeah,
last
yeah.
night. Yeah,
We
my
talked about
uncle
it.
showed those to me on bootleg VHS. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we used to have the
I had
whole
them on
series.
Laserdisc.
Oh,
There you go.
classy.
Yeah.
Nerd alert.
Yeah.
Cherish's mom had one of the hugest Laserdisc collect, right? Because your mom was an importer for them.
She like imported American movies to Taiwan.
Do you still have those?
I think we got rid of a lot of them.
Oh, no.
Tell them about what's the scary one? I'm just making Cherish tell silly stories now.
Yeah, no. So we had a bunch, and I always, when I was really little, watched the Care Bears movie and the Power Rangers movie on Laserdisc a lot, and I knew how to get them out and stuff. But in this like giant case of Laserdisc, in there was also the Piranha movie by James Cameron.
Yeah.
And the cover scared me. Because it's just like a zombie piranha just like flying at you. It's like horrifying. It's gross. And I remember in the movie where like people are running out of a pool and a piranha just chomps people's faces. And so I would be scared to even touch the laser disc. So I like remembered like 3 laser discs before it and would just like move them all at once.
Skip a chunk.
to skim over all of them. But yeah, there was a lot of laser discs.
Yeah.
We don't have to keep talking about laser
Okay,
discs.
that's okay.
Good quality though.
Rogue Nation was no piranha.
No. I haven't even seen Piranha since I was a kid. Is it good?
Cherish,
It's been a long time since I've seen it. I've seen Piranha.
3D.
3D.
Yeah.
Was a total blast.
Most sexually
Alexander
confusing
Aja
most
film.
ever.
Yeah.
The most abrupt ending to a movie maybe ever. Do you
I don't
What's
remember
the ending? I haven't
How does
seen
the
it.
end-
What's the ending?
okay. Spoil it for
so
everyone who
so
hasn't
the
seen it.
ending of Piranha is like they defeat the piranhas or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
They defeat them.
yeah, of course. And then Adam Scott, who clearly didn't want to be in a sequel for this movie, he's sitting now on some pond or whatever. And then Christopher Lloyd, who's like his scientist sidekick, calls him up. And he's like, oh, like, where are you? And he's like, I'm on a boat. And he's like, oh my God, you gotta get out of there. And then he's like, why? And he's like, I just made a discovery. Those piranhas, they're just the babies. They're just the babies.
And there's a giant
And then
piranha.
a giant piranha just literally just rips off his head just immediately.
Yeah.
And then just cuts to credits.
Rock and roll music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Super, super. The ickiest stuff, which I think is really not good for like 12-year-old boys to see that movie, is because literally I remember there's like a bunch of people at spring break dancing, and then like the piranhas chew through all the like cables that are keeping this water stage up, and this cable's whipping around through the water and like whips past this girl, and it cuts her bikini top off, so you get a topless shot. I was like, ooh, sexy.
And then she's been sliced in half.
Her whole torso starts sliding off. It's like that's gonna be confusing for some.
I don't like the
boys or girls who are,
I don't like the terror
Yeah.
boner. I can't get into
Yeah,
the fear
yeah.
boner. Like we're gonna give you a boner and then scare you thing.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Really?
You're just
Psycho,
like, eh.
sexual terror.
It's like
Okay.
here's something
Yeah.
sexy and then tasing you for
No,
it.
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
if you're gonna be schlocked, go all the way.
Go
you
all
know?
the way.
Alright.
You know, the fun fact,
That you
they
want-
use more blood on that film than any other movie in history.
Piranha
It's like
3D?
Yeah, I don't remember if it was 5 or 8, but somewhere in the region of 5 to 8 full semi-sized tanker trucks full of blood, so they could hose down the entire beach
That's pretty great.
over and over again. It's so awesome.
That's so ridiculous.
You know what? I'm sort of realizing now that I would rather watch that than MI5 Rogue Nation.
Oh, I would watch MI5 again right now.
Okay, we'll talk about that for a
Yeah.
second. As I wonder, there's a part of me that thinks that was, and I haven't seen the other Mission Impossible movies in a long time, perhaps the most intricately and well structured of the Mission Impossible films, but didn't necessarily have the sequences that anyone's going to
highs.
continue to talk about. You know, like the classic Ethan Hunt dropping from the air shaft in the first
The
film.
Obama, yeah.
You know, or the like
Burj.
Burj
Yeah.
Khalifa.
the Burj Khalifa jump,
The
or
classic Wiz Khalifa
the
sequence
Wiz
from
Khalifa smoking the Doja
So
and
dad.
MI4.
So dad.
What a
I'm really proud of that joke. I'm just gonna walk off on
it's
that
pretty
one.
good.
Okay, are you going to?
Bye guys. No, I'm not going to. You're gonna have to be subjected to more stupid humor from me.
Yeah.
So dad.
I'll say this is where I'll throw my hat in because it is a taut movie for the most part. Although I do think post Morocco, the movie kind of has to kind of reinvent what it's about, and then it's like they didn't set up the third act enough, so they have to then like stop and like
Became
explain
another spy
what's
movie.
going on. It's like, oh, here's her with her boss, and now here's then it's like all the
You
people.
need Ethan Hunt to best the other guy. What I thought was weird is that every set piece in that movie was shot so beautifully,
Gorgeous.
and the ending was shot beautifully as well. But I was wondering why they decided to do it at night. You know what I mean? Because it's like maybe more mysterious. I was like, oh, maybe it's because they need to do it so the box gag works at the end.
Down in the
For me, it was
hallway
just,
down
I was
there.
just like, they clearly ran out of money. So
Yeah,
it was
the
like,
last sequences just felt
they
like a
blew
little.
it all on. There was
Three
like
people sitting at a table talking at each other, and then a guy in a hallway in a box.
Yeah,
all very well acted. I thought the acting was probably the best
And
of the series.
it was
in
all.
this one.
I mean, the action was all impeccably choreographed
Yeah.
and edited poetically and
Yeah.
flawlessly.
Except
you know,
for
it's
that,
very
that
well put together.
hand-to-hand fight, I was
You
like,
know what? The knife fight?
when he's like, well, it was cool when he like got out of the pole when he shimmied out.
unbelievable.
And then it was just became. I just feel like
Oh,
those-
that was the
Sure.
the geography.
It was
of that
another
a little
one of
hard.
just kind of like shaky,
blub, blub.
fast cuts. I kind of can tell what's going on. sorta.
I just watched Christopher McQuarrie like doing a doing a commentary over a scene, and it was the opera scene,
Right.
Which was arguably that and the Moroccan car chase are probably the best.
We were
parts.
just reading, by the way, that he worked with the stunt team and Tom Cruise for 5 months to choreograph that.
Jeez.
That-
Which one, the
Hats
Moroccan
off
one?
to Tom Cruise.
The opera scene.
Oh, the opera one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was interesting because he was saying that they actually shot in the Vienna Opera House, but they had a very, very limited amount of time. So like front of stage is, and then they built everything
On a soundstage.
backstage in London or something
Yeah.
like that. But he talks very much about like how purposely he was showing geography, like obviously because he's like following two different people and like eye lines are moving because there's so many aspects to keep track of that. It was like he was very careful about geography. Like that was the big element of that whole action scene.
I say what you will about Tom Cruise in real life, but in the movies,
Dude.
he's in his 50s and he's still doing all of his own stunts. Like,
Yeah.
who else
I know
does
this
that?
is
Most your Jackie
brash
Chans.
and crass, but
He's
he is
American
a
Jackie
fucking
Chan.
movie star.
That's what
Yeah.
he is.
You know?
He's an absolute movie star.
He is fantastic.
Did you guys see that picture of him at his age now shooting Mission Impossible, and then
Wilford
Brimley at the same age doing? Do you remember?
Cocoon.
Shooting Cocoon.
Yeah.
Literally, they're the same age.
Tricker blood pressure.
And it's
trick it
literally
all
like Walrus Man, who I love, but compared to literal.
these
Well,
things are
See, I feel
assimilating
like
one
that's
another.
not fair though, because it's like you could just as easily use a picture of Wilford Brimley riding that horse from Hard Target.
I was just
Huge
thinking
Hard
Hard Target.
Target
You
in the
just wanted to
background.
bring up the Hard Target shot.
His Louisiana accent blows in Hard Target.
It doesn't even matter.
He
though.
blows
It's
people
got- was
away.
it a
in
bow
Hard
and arrow?
Target.
It's a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is the money shot.
I know.
Yeah.
I can smell them.
Well, okay. I will.
Have you seen Hard Target?
Nope.
I will segue into that
So
being
many
a John Woo film. John Woo directed the second entry in the MI series, and you take a look at the directors they have for each of these Mission Impossible films. It's really impressive. How many other series can you think, like weird action, goofy action series that have so many amazing
They got some heavy
tours
hitters. Oh yeah.
come in and
Yeah.
just do these standalone
I
Tom
love
Cruise
it.
action flicks?
I love it. I think it's
you
so
know.
cool.
So I mean, have you seen MI2, John?
Sure, I saw it in
Yeah.
the theaters when it first came out.
Right.
Did you like it?
Oddly, it was sweet at the time, but at the same time, I was like, I could, even though when I was 10 years old, I was like, this is pretty
Cheesy.
pretty
goofy?
cheesy and goofy. Because it's like,
Yeah.
you know, I was not aware, I wasn't aware of John Woo. That was my introduction to his style, you know, like the doves, and it was just, I don't know. For me, it kind of struck me as like America was in that post-Matrix kind of like literally Tom Cruise went from being like this like very fallible human in the first one to being an unstoppable killing machine, and the second one was, and even his hair changed, so it's
long
like
hair, yeah.
and like the first scene is him like he climbs to the top of a mountain. And then he
Love
gets
it.
like a sunglass message, and he throws at the camera, and they're playing, and they change the theme.
Butt rock.
Yeah.
It's
All right.
butt rock. Yeah,
I gotta jump in here because it's funny. It's funny that you. First of all, I love the idea of like 10-year-old Jon Karmen. Like, well, this is really like a post-Matrix, you know, just not having any of it in
yeah.
this movie.
Yeah.
I must have been in 7th grade when that movie came out, and it was my everything. Like
Yeah.
I saw it probably like 6-7 times in the theaters. It rocked. And I saw the first one in theaters and liked it, but it didn't click for me. And then that movie just hit me like a wall. Like
Yeah.
the double guns, the hair, the karate,
Motorcycles.
the motorcycles. I had this huge crush on Thandie Newton.
Were you familiar with Hong Kong action cinema at that time?
No, I wasn't. It was
Okay,
my
so that
first
your-
John Woo movie too.
All right. Well, I can imagine that would be totally, face melting.
It was,
Gateway.
and I loved the doves. I loved the explosions. Like I was
double
all
cuts
about
of
it.
the action.
Yeah. And that still holds a special place in my heart. That movie.
Is there like a standout scene? I feel like that's like the only one that doesn't have like that scene.
No,
you know?
I think the open is pretty iconic with the rock climbing because they parody in Austin Powers.
In terms of like a suspenseful,
And then
like
the- and then-
iconic, like you're biting your teeth, like the
I
way.
think- no,
type
I
scene.
don't think that's the way he doesn't do suspense. He does like really dramatic, beautiful action. Like the motorcycle scene
Gun ballet.
with him and Doug Ray Scott at the end
Yeah.
is like really like beautifully shot and like, but it's not like what's gonna happen. It's just like I really want to keep watching this because it's so.
Yeah,
It's
pleasurable to
definitely
watch.
the least Mission Impossible-y
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
movies.
You could call that movie anything else.
yeah.
I don't know about that because it still to me plays so much with the iconography of the masks and like everyone always makes fun of how there's so many he does the mask thing so much in that movie, but I love it. I love
Mask thing is a blast.
masks on masks on masks
Yeah.
and and then also like again like I don't know, I'm such a sucker for the guy shooting the rocket and then the Oakley shades come out and he puts them on and then it's the mission thing and then like it's like these glasses will self-destruct in 5 seconds and any normal human being would just scream and throw them off of his face, but Tom Cruise takes the time to say to no one out loud, if I told you where I was going, it wouldn't be a vacation, and then he takes them off and chucks them
At the camera.
Yeah.
Slow-mo fly at camera,
It's-
explode
well,
into
it-
credit
here-
sequence.
10-year-old
I'll-
me's eyes rolled back into
my
his
Such
head.
a
10-year-old
cynic.
you
Yeah.
at 10?
Yeah.
Here's the last.
John.
My last thing on this,
Yeah.
because I could go on and on and on about MI2 because it's one of my genuine favorite movies.
Yeah.
Is that I was talking to Matt about it, and it's like a lot of these movies, like again, this one 5 kind of fell apart in the third act, 4 kind of fell apart in the third act. In terms of fell apart in the sense that not that they aren't,
They do.
but
Yeah.
in terms of my emotional
disagree.
engagement,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like I kind of like it's all fun and it's suspenseful, but I kind of just check out. MI2 has a rip-roaring climax. And it's because the movie is much more interested in telling an emotional story than it is in getting caught up in a bunch of spy chess games. It's Tom Cruise and a love story with this girl and the conflict that results from them being like sort of on opposite sides of this undercover operation. And then it builds beautifully to this really intense climax where, again, it's like say what you will about the damsel in distress trope and how obnoxious and old it is. Like it keeps the stakes personal and intense. And when it's it's like
You're talking about in MI2.
and MI2. Like to me, it's like the movie is like actually like that's the closest Ethan Hunt has come to feeling like an actual character to me because he actually has like a personal romantic interest in the film.
Three
Three
is
is
all
his
about.
wife.
I
Three is his
yeah,
wife.
fair
I
enough.
would disagree.
All
with you.
about
3
that.
has his wife, but then I don't know. In 5 last night, from what I just saw, this is just my immediate reaction. But this film, Ethan felt more human than in any of the other Mission
Yeah.
Impossible
Yeah.
films, and I truly felt for the female quote unquote damsel. You
Yeah.
know, that was the most fully realized.
Yeah, I wouldn't
you
even-
know,
I wouldn't
supporting
even
the
call her
most
damsel.
female
Yeah.
character, and,
Yeah.
and that's what it was. You go into those movies knowing
That's fair.
that Tom Cruise is Superman,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and there's this meta text, like even in that film, the dialogue in the opening scenes, reminds you Tom Cruise cannot be killed. Ethan Hunt, is a god essentially
yeah.
in this
Well, he
universe.
dies in
But
this
then
one,
you
yeah.
want to know what's going to happen to this girl because he truly cares about her.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
you see that they're actually perfect for one another, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
even though the plot gets really muddy and convoluted,
I
in the
did
end,
think there-
I want to know what happens between the two of them.
Yeah. Well, I like that it wasn't just pure romance. It was like respect and affection, almost more than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was very
Yeah, it wasn't
Furiosa
sexual.
Yeah,
type.
yeah. She's the female
Yeah.
Ethan Hunt. She's a
Yeah.
feminine Ethan Hunt, and it's like, and I don't know.
Look-
I'm glad we're talking about her because she was, I think, the most interesting part of it.
Absolutely.
Because she's the one who actually has more stakes in it than he does. You could argue in this one.
And I'm glad she was the actress that they cast was a grown ass woman,
Rebecca
you
Ferguson,
know,
yeah.
and the part was written incredibly well. She was a
She's
fully
only
realized
32.
character. It
Yeah.
wasn't just
She
like
looked like weathered.
it's not like they just cast some 24-year-old Swedish actress,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
like swapped her out with
Bjorn
a stunt double.
Lindenborg.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, she
you
looked
know?
like she was like handling it. Yeah, like she's
It was believable.
smart and an agent who had been around the block and was like experienced. And I don't know. I think that she like there was something in the way her performance was like always something behind her eyes. I thought that was really really interesting. Like she knew what was going on and was a step ahead.
Great poker face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was you can't you don't give away her intentions until like the very end, like which side she's.
She was
really on.
that her performance like that's a really tough role because she's like playing both sides and doing this
Yeah.
whole thing. And the wrong actress would have just sunk it. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
like, all right, come on. But it's
Yeah.
like she really plays it to the hilt. And credit to the script too that it manages to. It's not like you're ever really like, oh, she must be working with a bad guy. You're like, yeah, come
Yeah.
on. But
Yeah.
like you are genuinely curious as to what game
Yeah.
she's playing.
Yeah.
I like McQuarrie. I think he does a good job with female characters because
Yeah.
Rosamund Pike's character in Jack Reacher
Yeah.
was really, really legit.
We
too,
always
like,
talk about
well-written.
Jack Reacher. If anyone listening to this hasn't seen
You
it,
gotta
should go
see
back
that.
and check
Gotta
it out
see
on
Jack
Netflix,
Reacher.
because
You
that
gotta
movie
see
is
Jack
awesome.
Reacher.
And also, I love that they McQuarrie and the producers identified that one of his strong suits is doing like Tom Cruise behind the wheel of a car, driving down the streets thing. That he
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
really excelled
Yeah.
at that. And
Yeah.
that sequence was fantastic. Like
Mark and
4
Sue.
motorcycles versus Cruise in a BMW.
Yeah.
Down
That was
tight back alleys.
Yeah.
Fucking
and then
awesome.
it progresses into all motorcycles. My favorite shot in the whole movie, well, 2 shots, is one is the close up of her as she's in the tower about
Yeah.
to snipe the guy. And then 2 is when Tom Cruise is on the motorcycle and he's rounding that corner and he like touches his knee to the ground
yeah.
and he's like looks down for a second. It's like such
Yeah.
like a little personal touch. And it looks like he's
'cause
doing it.
Well,
he's doing it. Yeah.
This is what we were talking about. We were like, how like that? It's like a lot of the stunts that he does. It's like, okay, that's crazy that he did that, but it's like that might be the most baffling. Like, there's no way you're gonna let Tom Cruise ride a motorcycle at 80 miles an hour without a helmet on. Like, it's not like I'm really curious to see how they pulled that off because like it's illegal.
Yeah, I don't know. From what we were reading, it was Tom Cruise driving at super speeds on those Moroccan roads, and which is interesting, right? That this film felt like such a reaction to even the previous Mission Impossible movies and everything you're seeing coming out in Hollywood, the tent poles, everything is pixels versus pixels, and this was definitely marketed as Tom Cruise as a special effect.
Real thing.
He's dangling from a plane, he's riding a motorcycle. Some people probably roll their eyes like, so what's cool about that?
Yeah.
It's like, well, go fucking see it.
Yeah.
Because it is awesome. There's
Yeah.
something so fun and refreshing about that.
McQuarrie also does a really good job with his car scenes, I think. Those
Yeah.
are
Oh, he's a great car. He does a good car chase.
I think the opera scene was obviously really good, but the Moroccan car chase was like I mentioned this last night, but I think what he does really well is make things look like they're going really fast. Like he conveys speed really well in car chases.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of movies I think like Fast and Furious, they convey weight a lot more, because the cars are heavier and stuff, but he always makes things look like they're going super, super fast, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I don't know about that villain, though.
Yeah.
Switch gears for
I
a
liked
second.
him.
I know, we were talking about this last night.
I mean, I'm a fan of that actor. I mean, maybe he was miscast. He was kind of like we didn't have the physical presence probably required.
Here's what
to
it
be
is, right?
imposing,
It's
but-
like, again, like I was saying a minute ago, Ethan is incredible. You have seen him fly helicopters upside down and dangle off of the Grand Canyon without a rope. Like you've seen this guy perform Herculean feats. And then you get this noodle with no chin. He's like, I'm going to kill you, Ethan. You never felt like he was outmatched for 1 second. You're just like ticking down the minutes waiting for Ethan to kick this guy's
What
ass.
did you like about him? I'm curious.
Yeah,
I mean,
what works?
that guy's. I mean, it's just biased, just because I've seen him in other stuff. He's a very
is
good
he in?
actor.
Sam
He was.
something, right?
I forget his name. No, Sean Harris is his name.
That's right.
He was in this miniseries called South Cliff, and he plays a villain in that too. And he's great. He's much better cast. He's like this is kind of like a psycho ex-military guy. Like it was very weird for me because like he always has a beard and stuff and looks awesome with a beard, but like at this he looked clean shaven. So I think it took away kind of his intensity. But I liked him because I think they're kind of going for like there's a lot of like British intelligence stuff going on in this one. There was that definitely like felt like the most James Bondy
Yeah.
of it. And
I
it was
like
almost
the
like
British thing.
and it felt like he was like, okay, it's like the American action hero versus like evil James Bond. And like the first time you see him when he's in the classic suit and everything. So it's like it's almost like maybe there's a meta commentary. It's like, yeah, Americans kick ass and we're awesome, and this guy just like hides behind a laptop and is delegating orders and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's definitely no Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman was definitely the scariest villain, but I
Yeah.
think that was also the most serious Mission Impossible as well.
The first one.
The first one is fun. I think Brian De Palma and Jex never takes it too seriously.
Maybe. And that's interesting because that's the way I remembered that first one. I think of that movie as being a total blast.
Yeah.
And when I got home last night, I saw it was on Netflix and I watched like 40 minutes of it before
really?
I passed out. It is dark.
Yeah, I know
that
his
movie
whole
is
team gets
jet black.
murked
You get
in
they
the
got the
beginning.
guy who did Carrie and Dressed to Kill.
Yeah.
And it is a jet black movie. Like 4 minutes into it, Emilio Estevez's head gets split in half.
I love
Yeah,
that.
but
elevator
the
shaft.
elevator,
And you're just
right?
hilarious. And it
I
is
forgot
played.
about
It
that.
is played so
That
straight.
scared the crap out of me when
It
I
cuts
was
that
a
to
kid.
Ethan
scared
Hunt
me,
screaming.
I-
It's like Tom Cruise fresh out of the firm screaming like, "What do I do?"
Yeah.
You know, the MI5 plot is sort of similar in a way. It's
Man, I wanna watch
this
that
whole
now.
Rogue Nation thing. But 3 was fun, you know?
Really?
thought
I
so.
literally don't
That's
even
one where
remember
he
3.
That's
Yeah.
one where
3,
he
like,
murks supposedly murks his wife. Like he straight up shoots who you think is Michelle Monaghan,
Yeah.
right? And then
And
it
he's
turns out
like-
he
yeah.
just
3 was the
masked
first
her.
one that humanized Ethan Hunt in a way. It showed him outside the IMF, and
Mm-hmm.
then it had a classic villain. It shows like how much leverage you get out of having a true badass, you know, that can outwit your action hero.
I was gonna go back to the villain in 5, who I actually really like the character.
Yeah.
I don't think the performance match up. Because like when he says like, oh, human nature is my weapon and stuff like that, that's really interesting. That's
Absolutely.
like genuinely, I think what would make a great villain is someone who really understands people and is one step ahead and playing them like chess.
A guy who's not doing something pure evil for evil's sake, but I know we were talking about this last night.
Yeah.
Like, I want that.
Why don't
I
he?
miss that. There's something interesting about a guy just thinking he's right. You know, but
To me, I don't even need like someone who's pure evil or whatever. I would just like a villain that isn't just a spy doing spy stuff
things.
to other spies. Again,
Yeah.
like we were talking about that. I've been saying this to everybody, but it's like the show week to week had very grounded and very specific stakes, which were wonderful. Like one week it would be like, oh, there's a Nazi hiding out in Argentina trying to restart the Third Reich, and he's this mysterious dude, no one's ever seen him. So our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to infiltrate and pose as him and discredit him in his own organization. Or they'd be like, here's a third world country, Banana Republic, the dictator is trying to rig the election, and we're gonna unrig the election. And like when you get to down that specific level, like you can get into some really interesting stuff, and it's not just this big like. I feel like every one of these, it's some like sort of obvious anti-Tom Cruise shadow character is doing the anti-Tom Cruise thing, and Tom Cruise has to punch him with symmetrical violence and plotting.
All blockbusters need to stop this could be very well be our last mission to make it count, or this is our
One
last ride.
Yeah.
We gotta stop because you're gonna make more.
You know what was really cool though this time around, and some of this I'm sort of cribbing from Devin Faraci's review of MI5. I was just reading earlier. If you guys haven't read it, you really should.
They did. It was good.
Yeah, really incredible review. But he points out, and I would agree, I definitely felt this while watching, this definitely feels like the first entry in the Mission Impossible franchise. You know, it has this meta text. It goes out of its way in the opening scenes to reference events from the other Mission Impossible films.
Yep.
It's not a standalone, and they get the band together, and they have this rapport, and it does have that family, like familial, one last ride, Fast and Furious kind of thing going for it, which I don't know. It was a lot of fun, and that was definitely different than the other MI films. It was unexpected.
Did you guys notice they were trying to do this like running thing where it's like, you're a gambler, Ethan. They said it like 10 times.
They did say that like
They were, and I was like,
well, Ethan.
I thought
at one point there was like a guy in the background. He's like, well, Ethan's a gambler, so he might. I don't know what he's gonna do now.
like the bad guy calls him that, like the female sidekick calls him that. Like I was figuring it was gonna build up to like one last like
Roll
gamble
of the
or
dice.
something, you know, where like you're holding your breath, and it just kind of like went too perfectly. That was like my.
I was really hoping they would have at least been like, no, I didn't fucking memorize the list. Are you crazy? At least I could have that be a bluff or something.
Yeah.
I know. Okay, was it just me, or was Alec Baldwin a total dipshit in that movie?
I liked Alec Baldwin. I'm always happy to see the Baldwin.
I enjoyed it. Was that what they were going for? I mean, it had to be, right?
I know. I think he was like
The whole
he was
movie,
an
he's
idiot.
like, there's no. I thought they were gonna. I
Yeah,
guess
and
I
then-
appreciate
That he wasn't a bad guy? Yeah, I thought he was gonna be a bad
I
guy.
thought that's where they were
Yeah.
going, and then it all equates to this moment where he just looks at Ethan like, "Wait, you fucking right the whole time?
Yeah.
Am I
What
just
was
an
that
idiot?"
deleted scene? Talk about that.
Oh,
deleted
apparently
scene.
there was they cut a whole scene that was this thing with where it's like the CIA's apprehended Ethan Hunt, and then like Alec Baldwin takes Ethan Hunt and is like berating him and like taking him through security and stuff like that, and then they do this whole switcheroo where apparently then it's like he takes the mask off and it was Simon Pegg pretending
Benji.
to be
Ethan.
He did pretending to be Alec Baldwin.
Oh,
So, and then it was gonna be like, oh shit, it's Simon Pegg, and then it was Alec Baldwin, and then so apparently this is like Alec Baldwin was just on fire in this scene, but just like just because he's just like shitting on Ethan, it's like Benji like
laying it on
letting out.
thick.
Yeah.
Unloading.
to the point where like it was like Christopher McQuarrie asked like Tom Cruise like, yo, like he's really stealing the scene here. You like. He's like, you feel bad you're not getting any work. He's like, dude, I'm just getting a front row seat. Like, this is great.
that's awesome.
Yeah, just Alec Baldwin.
But it was like
going
this
ham.
whole. It was this whole 10-minute sequence they had to cut because it was like just confusing to the audience. They're like, wait, what?
to do that and then follow that up with another twisty, turny
Mask.
guys
Masky
in masks.
rope-a-dope,
Scene.
yeah.
You don't need
That masking was pretty obvious, right?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah, I
From a
can see that
mile
from a mile away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like
when
it
he was like,
needed
no one else comes in. I was just like, oh.
I
okay.
know.
I don't know.
Although I will say this, I never get sick of the actual dude showing up. Do you know what I mean? Like
Oh,
they do
yeah,
that every
yeah,
time,
yeah.
and he's like,
It's
"Whoa,
fun every time.
who told you that? You did."
did,
So-
sir.
What? Like I love that.
It's
Yeah.
never not fun.
I'm such a sucker for that trope.
I feel like it could have used another, like a masky turny, like, no, there's one more layer to this onion. I don't know.
So here's something if I had to guess what was going on behind the scenes with Mission Impossible. 4, they're like, Tom Cruise is like, maybe I've run my course as the star of this franchise. Let's bring in a young
Jeremy
gun.
Renner.
Yeah.
Let's bring in Jeremy Renner.
Maybe we can hand this off.
And then in between 4 and 5, he's like, you know what? No, I got like 3 more
I
of
got
these
it.
in me.
Yeah.
Jeremy, sorry. I know we kind of gave you expectations, but you're a bureaucrat in this one. Sorry, buddy. You're not really getting
Poor Jeremy Renner. That happened to him on Bourne too.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
like
I don't know.
he's like the cheap middleman that they put in when like they're negotiating the star's contract.
I think he's a great
for next
actor.
one.
I don't know. Maybe
He
he's just
seems
missing
good.
that
He's great,
that
no.
thing that makes
And
him
he's funny,
a
too.
true breakout star.
Well, he's not going to throw himself, off giant, cliffs
How do
or
you know
whatever.
that? Maybe no one gave him the chance.
I don't know.
Maybe no one asked him. Hey, Jeremy.
He's you know what it is? He's really great at that like wounded, sensitive, like kind of folksy thing.
Yeah.
And it's great and he's incredible at it, but it's not like a Matt Damon or Tom Cruise style movie star
Yeah.
you know
action
what?
hero thing.
He's not an unattractive man, but maybe it comes down to looks. He doesn't have that.
It's a look. It's also his charisma.
I don't think Matt Damon is any more good looking than Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
I think it's the silence. Like that. Remember
Yeah.
that part where she's like, "It really is you, isn't it?" And then you think he's gonna say something, and he's just like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I don't think Jeremy Renner has that charm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just the presence,
maybe
just the
yet.
silent
Yeah,
presence.
yeah.
Like Tom Cruise
Yeah.
has like intense
Yeah.
look to him, and so,
All right.
so does Matt Damon.
It really is you. It really is Tom Cruise.
Let's do the cheap thing and let's rank the Mission Impossible movies.
That's tough, man.
Best to
Ooh.
worst, right?
How about this? Let's
it's
rank.
challenging.
Let's rank because these movies are always just a collection of cool scenes.
You know
let's rank the best Mission Impossible scenes.
or the best
we
mission.
should do movies.
What if you rank the best?
Yeah, I think mission. I think the movie is the best way to do
You
this.
just gotta do movies.
I don't
I
remember
never
the
remember-
missions. It's they gotta get a thing from the guy.
it's
Like that's
always-
what they
it's
are.
gotta
It's
be
just which
scenes.
thing did he jump off?
can't
of?
remember what
yeah, but which
stories.
thing did he do to
I'd
get
say
the thing that?
I'd say movies, and then if you want to do scenes, we do scenes
All right,
after.
movies right
is
now.
cleaner.
I'll go.
Go.
2, right at the top. Boom. Number 1 with a bullet.
Okay.
Natch. Then I would do shit. The rest of them.
You shit the rest of them.
Just
my
the
God.
2 and then the
Tied
other
for
ones.
second place.
2 and then the other ones.
I would straight up say 5 first, honestly, because I love Rebecca Ferguson, and also I love that car chase.
She was great.
She was legitimately
Okay.
fantastic.
I go 2 then 5.
I would do 5. I would do 5, maybe 1 and 4 next, equal, and 2, and then probably 3. Sorry, hun.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to do 5. I'm doing 5. I thought
Nice.
that was the most well-rounded Mission Impossible entry and definitely the most fun. Then I'm going to go with 1. I enjoy the Ethan versus everyone, Rogue Nation-esque
Yeah,
element to
yeah.
the first one, and it's completely devoid of all comedy jet black tone.
I need to watch that.
And
again.
and then I will go with 3, based solely on my love of Philip Seymour Hoffman's performance. It's just a classic
Two's-
villain. And then
two's
I will,
close.
then I'll do 2, and then 4.
Burj Khalifa's lowest, huh?
Yeah,
Oof.
that's all that movie has going for it.
It's got the Kremlin scene too.
Kremlin scene's fun.
are
It's like a
great,
5-minute sequence.
I would say 4 is the most fun if you just cut off the third act.
What about you, Jono?
Oh man, you guys kind of exhausted the list thing. I can't. It's all blurred.
Pick a
They all-
favorite then. Pick
What was
the
your
best
favorite?
one.
What are your favorite
Yeah.
stunts? What are your favorite scenes?
Yeah, you want to do scenes?
Dude, just I recently rewatched that scene from the first one. No scene has come close to nail biting.
The CIA one. you mean?
Just when he's lowering himself into the room,
Right.
because it's so
It's classic.
long. It just keeps going and going, and there's so much silence to it, and that's like it's just pure,
It's like
pure
Reefy
cinema.
Fee.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
it's
just- yeah,
just
there's
a
no-
one drop of sweat,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there doesn't cut to some guy in a computer room being like, "Hey,
I gotta
Ethan, you
upload
gotta
the
get out of there."
nanovirus.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Upload a fingerprint scanning.
Yeah.
Complete.
Jean Reno and the freaking
Holding the-
and
yeah.
and the sweat and oh,
The temperature and the sound, and the guy with the diarrhea.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I was talking with Joey Scoma right before I went in. He brought this hilarious point. There's like when he's like literally hanging inches above the floor and somehow is able to catch his own sweat.
Right?
It's just like,
Yeah.
no, that doesn't happen. Like, but
Yeah.
it works so well in
Yeah.
that moment. And, but the knife falling,
Oh,
it just your heart is, you know, it's going to happen, but even when you rewatch it, but your heart is still racing just
I
because.
should rewatch that one because I didn't like that when I was like 8.
Yeah.
But because it wasn't. I was like, this isn't like the show at all. Because literally, all I remember is that his team just gets everyone gets obliterated in the beginning, and then it becomes the Tom Cruise show.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that's because my mom said that, and now that's what I think.
Well, he
But so
goes
I
and
need to
gets
watch-
another team.
Yeah, I know. So I should
Yeah.
probably watch that again.
Last point, I'll throw this in.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you that I would love to see a super serious one again.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, you know what, it's like the Tom, like this one, the Tom Cruise, Simon Pegg, Ving Rhames Yuck Fest just did not land really that well for me.
I love
I
it.
really
more
found
of
it.
that.
Look,
it
I
really
had
wore thin
I had
for
a
me.
total blast, but I feel like if they were to make a 6, they got to reinvent themselves. You know,
It's just like Ethan,
Really?
like I was just like, you know, and it's like I love the humor in the Fast and the Furious movies more and more every time, but it's like for some reason, just this time I was just like, shut the fuck up, like with the jokes and the like. I just like.
Great jokes.
no,
No,
was a blast.
it's not. They're not good jokes. They're just
no.
the
Solid
shitty
jokes.
ad lib Hollywood
No,
jokes.
no,
I'm driving
The
the
part-
car. Watch out, Ving Rhames. We gotta drive.
No,
nuts.
the
Fuck
part with
you.
Ving
That's
Rhames, the
garbage.
part with Ving Rhames,
Those
instantly like
cinematic
I'm in,
jokes.
like
Those were
10
written.
Yeah.
You know,
The
they were
jokes were
transition
good.
to 6
Are you
months
okay,
later.
man? You like died 2 seconds. It's like that fucking.
That's not a joke.
Yeah,
Well,
Will.
wasn't a
hacky
joke.
humor.
When Alec Baldwin says, "What does he say?"
Oh, that was cute.
Yeah,
6 months later.
he
That
says,
was
mark
cute.
the time.
I'm not
Ethan's
saying-
living his last day as a
Yeah.
spy, and then it
6
cuts to
months
6
later.
months later.
The movie,
like that is
look,
written.
that's
That
what
is
I'm,
scripted
no,
joke.
I know. The movie has some great cinematic wit. I will not disagree with that.
Yeah.
But I found the banter between Cruise and Pegg and Ving Rhames and Jeremy Renner kind of hacky this time.
I think
and
you're full
for
of shit.
all of the
Yeah, I think you're
for all
full
the
of shit.
emphasis
I've
on
heard that.
family, I don't fucking buy it. These guys aren't family. Like, come on.
I
Like
totally
I don't know. They did. Well, you've spent 3 movies together. Good. Like, you know, I bet you fucking like Ethan Hunt doesn't know whether Simon Pegg has a girlfriend. Like, he doesn't know his middle name. Like, come on. Like, these guys don't. Like, it's stupid. Like,
I'm
was like, I
almost
don't.
positive he knows his middle name. I would bet money on it.
Because I feel like Ethan knows everything.
Yeah, duh.
Well, you know.
IMF.
You don't see him get him a gift or I guess they're a band. Like
Do
you got
you get your
the
friends
Vienna
gifts?
thing was kind of cute. All right,
Well,
but
He
like
saves his life.
Well, if this were your podcast, I'd
memorizes
say you're
a-
right, but it's not, and you're not. So
he memorizes a bunch of numbers to
kidding.
save Benji's life. You do that for your friends?
I don't know. Will wants. Okay, so Will wants the super serious.
I'm
Mission
not saying.
Impossible.
I just
That's fine.
It's
Dude,
this
totally.
style of it's the same. It's the. It's you see. It's like Joss Whedon relies on it a lot. It's the like. It's this like some big crazy action thing happens, and then we get like a snarky quip or two, and like I'm just done with it. I'm just fucking
so
done
Oh
with
no,
it.
man!
confused by
That's
you right
that's
now.
cinema. That's all.
Like
you
in
gotta
fucking
release,
Avengers, when Scarlett Johansson's like, in what way is that a party? I'm like, shut the fuck up! Like, what do we need this
No.
for?
Well,
like,
look, I agree. Hacky jokes blow, but that literally that's releasing tension. You know, go back to Hitchcock. That's the joke is the catharsis, and that's the reason why we go to see movies.
I'm so confused right now.
who are you?
Because literally, you're the one who was like, "I'm done with the super serious, like gritty Dark Knight."
no, but no one knows how
Why
to
doesn't
do.
anyone have any fun anymore?
Yeah, and like
All right, all
Mission
right.
Impossible is the
All
only
right.
breath of air
No
you
one
get.
does. No one knows how to do serious right. That's the problem.
Oh my god.
Who are you?
Like there's tension and like it's like there's like
Who does do serious
Will's
right?
lost it.
I thought
Werner.
Christopher McQuarrie, but apparently
Based on one
give us an example of something that's just the
Quick
perfect-
example
of
before we
what,
move
of
on.
what the immaculate, serious done
perfect
right.
blend.
yet
Fifi,
with-
dog, Les Circle
Oh.
Rouge,
something
friggin'
less.
Bob Les Flambours.
All right, let's get out of the
Snooze
film
alert.
film school territory. Something that our viewers may have heard of
Like a popcorn tentpole film that could be produced
within the last
for $150 million.
decade.
Like a
All right,
realistic
well, I won't. I
Everyone
won't be
going to see
cliche
it.
and say Mad Max Fury Road again because we've talked about it too much on this podcast.
Yeah, we can't.
I would say this: that movie last night, Mission Impossible. I
5.
keep saying
Rogue
5.
Nation.
Rogue Nation
You can say 5.
would have been the best action movie of the summer if Mad Max wouldn't have just blown it out of the water.
Yeah, well, there's no compare. Mad Max is like the best action movie in the
But
past 10 years.
it is a new
gotta
high
stop
water
talking-
mark
we
in
gotta stop
in
talking
action
about it.
cinema. But anyway,
You know what? Like, it's the difference between Spider-Man 2 and Avengers in that Spider-Man 2 has a ton of humor and a ton of huge laughs, but, like, it doesn't need to, like, do this, like, shitty, like, let's crack wise in the middle of our action scene, like... I don't know.
I wish there was more cracking.
I got a
jokes
little
in this one.
bugaboo about this right now. I don't even know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I feel like this.
little
I thought we were all
but
unwarranted.
I thought we were all in agreement that this new Mission Impossible pretty good, and all of a sudden you're just like, you know what? Screw all the witty banter and go fuck yourself.
I'm gonna grind an axe.
I
real
just
quick
know what
while
it
I'm
is.
on
It's
this
just
pulpit.
it's just like I feel like it's the same joke every time with Tom Cruise and Ethan Hunt. It's just it's the same gag. It's just they're
What is
like
it?
it's just the Simon Pegg being flummoxed and like it's just like this one their relationship just has this one note to play. And like I don't know, like I tire of it.
Oh my god. Okay, Fraser.
One note.
All
Sounds
right.
like you're giving script
right.
notes right now.
Where are
Christopher
you at
McQuarrie
Twitter
again.
so people can debate you on the internet?
At Will B. Campos.
It will be. You guys
come at me.
Try to come at this brick wall over
Cracks
here.
knuckles.
He's clearly made up his mind on the Rogue Nation. Before we wrap this up, any other things on Rogue Nation before we move on to questions? Fan
I think
questions?
the viewers had enough Rogue Nation.
Yeah, I think they've
we got
had enough.
10
Okay.
lifetimes.
So we're going to move on real quick. And now that that's out of the way, we got a couple of fan questions. This first one from Adam Novanek. Hope I'm pronouncing that right, Adam. At Gruber TV. He asked, Rocket Jump, are we going to see any ball pit length videos? Any ball pit length this week at Rocket Jump videos
my
again?
God.
Because I loved it. And
Oh,
apparently
my
he
God.
wants more. So, John.
Perfect timing. This new one. Be sure to watch the Nerdist Showdown video.
Yeah.
We're doing a sequel that is almost the exact length of Ball Pit.
Oh.
And
There we go. That's
Yeah,
the one that's
it's
coming out
coming
next.
out.
It's
Right.
great. It's really, really
gonna
good.
melt
I'm
your
very
face
excited
off.
about it.
It's hilarious. Lots of rad effects, good stuff. The hardest I've laughed at a This Weekend video,
Oh,
by the way.
good to know.
Yeah. Here's another one. Scott Balcom tweets at Rocket Jump Tweet. Scott Balcom and at Falnix. Will you ever show behind the scenes of the creative process of an episode? Just the way everyone interacts on ideas.
No, bro.
because those riffing sessions where the ideas start popping, like you can't get into that. You need to be super comfortable, and if there's a camera running, or at least personally, I can't get into that space.
That's definitely how Will and I felt the one time the Hulu show cameras walked into our writer's
Yeah.
office.
We were like,
you just immediately
Well,
shut
it's a
them
safe
down.
zone.
You know,
Yeah.
we were like, yeah, we want to be on TV, but you got to get the hell
Yeah.
out of here. We can't. We just
Sorry,
can't.
that's where the magic happens. You can't,
It's tough because it's like I do want to give people a window into that process. Like it would be cool to figure out a way to do that,
Have
but
you
it is
seen
like
6 days to air when the cameras are rolling on the South Park guys, Matt and
Yeah.
Trey, like concocting an episode of South Park.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I wish we were that good. I feel like we're
Yeah.
if there was
we're
hidden-
just
if
too
there was
self-conscious
hidden
for that.
cameras and not a silent guy
Yeah.
just filming you, maybe.
Anyway,
I don't feel like it would. Never mind.
no.
I don't feel like.
I
it'd
thought
be
that was an
interesting.
excellent question, though, Scott. Look, we'll work on it, brother. That's all I can promise you. This is from Ben at _justben. Rocket Jump tweet: how do you market and to whom? Where do you see the company going in the future? How do you guys make sure the lights stay on?
How much time do we have?
That's right. That is the topic for an entire series of business-related podcasts. Look, I can say, the very simple answer is there are a lot of really talented people here all working their asses off. And as far as who we're marketing to, that is an ever-evolving conversation. We are constantly talking about who our audience is and what their tastes are, while at the same time not trying to be hamstringed by making, sort of like fitting content into a box and a series of
Still
checks.
doing what we're excited about.
I
We're
think that's exactly what it is. Every week we show up and when we're in these rooms without cameras talking about our next video, it's what entertains us.
Yeah.
I think I think there's. I always feel like, especially at least in the early days, the magnetic north has always kind of been what is something that we would like to see. Do you know what I mean? I feel
Yeah.
like it's the intuition is always because it's like I don't know if people have the impression necessarily that like at Rocket Jump it's like we're like, oh, how are we going to hit that tween demographic, or how are we going to get boys 18 or whatever. Like Video Game High School, like that was just we really wanted to write and make and see this thing. Like that was something that we were excited about because
Yeah.
we were excited about telling that story.
Yeah.
I think film school will also kind of talk into like kind of future business stuff.
Yeah, it's tricky, right? There's no way of truly knowing. All we can do is try to entertain each other. And if we get everyone in the room laughing or engage in an idea, we know we've got something. And there's no formula. We go and make it. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But that was an excellent question, Ben. Just got a couple more here before we wrap this up. Let me fly through these. I believe this one specifically for you, Cherish. You can answer this from Keegan Larwin. At Keegan Larwin.
Oh,
Any
hey.
advice to recent film school grads? The world is scary.
Oh, I wonder if this is Keegan that I met at VidCon. Maybe. If so, hi Keegan. If not,
What's up,
hi
Keegan?
Keegan. Gosh, I would say I remember this quote I saw. It was from somebody who worked in the film industry, who was basically like, "If you're still doing it and you love it, then you're succeeding." So
Just stick with it.
It's just sticking with it, and it could be 2 years, it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years until you break into it. And I think a big part of it is keep being self-aware. You know, like check in with yourself emotionally. Look at where you are in the big picture. You know,
Well, that's the only way you can grow.
exactly.
Yep.
I think if you just be like, if you can find yourself in a golden handcuff situation where you're like, oh, I'm making money now. I'll just stay here because it's comfortable. But if that's not creatively fulfilling for you, then check in with yourself and be like, okay, I need to either fix the situation I'm in or I need to move on.
Yeah, and it's going to be hard. There's no secret to it. I'm definitely a subscriber to the idea of the 10,000 hours theory.
Yep.
Just work and work and work,
Yeah.
and
And
you'll
we're all
get
still
better.
learning, too. I mean,
always your
yeah.
entire career.
Absolutely.
Excellent question. Keegan, and good luck with your impending graduation.
Yes.
Okay, and last question.
Go to
Hopefully
the
this is a
film
good
school
one.
forums, by the way, Keegan.
There you
Yeah,
go.
introduce yourself.
Yes.
Barely Wizard. What are your thoughts on movie reboots like Jurassic World, Terminator, Star Wars, etc.? Give me a quick hate 'em, like 'em, or entirely unnecessary.
Mad Max was a reboot, so
Kind
Mad Max is a reboot cool.
A reboot, cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
same
I'm
with
all for
same with
'em.
Terminator, which none of
done
us
right.
saw. Right?
I want to be the one who goes sees that.
I do too.
I mean, here's
I
the,
mean,
go.
yeah, I could. I'm the office curmudgeon when it comes to banging on about this stuff. But
Yeah.
I could give a flying fart about whether a movie's a reboot or not, as long as it's good at what it
Exactly.
does. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But it is a little depressing that there is so few just new original property or IPs or whatever. It even they're rebooting Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Look, here's the thing.
Hey, that
Here-
movie's
here- let
sick.
me just say this.
No, I mean just who knows what that is? You know what I mean? They're just, it's all built-in
Yeah.
markets
Yeah.
now.
Some of my favorite films are sequels and remakes.
Yeah.
The Thing, Terminator 2.
Ocean's 11 was
movies
a
like that.
remake of
Yeah,
a way-
there are excellent movies that are aliens, that are remakes, sequels, reboots, what have you. It doesn't matter. Those movies they fucking work. They're badass. People identify with them. They don't care if there's a number in front of the title or after it. If it's a remake, it doesn't matter.
I actually, after Will and I saw Jurassic World, we had this conversation because I actually think the next movie could be really, if obviously you weren't at the behest of the studio, that's a really good opportunity to do something really out there and interesting. Like the next one, because Jurassic World was so successful, they're clearly going to do another one. But expectations are going to be, I feel are kind of in this interesting place where you could go really weird with it. And it's if they do something really cool, that would be awesome.
Absolutely.
I don't think they would, but
I don't know. So it sounds like we're all in agreement. Who cares, right?
yeah, as long as
Good
it's
movies
good.
are good movies. Shitty
Good
movies
movies
are
movie.
shitty.
Well, John's a little sad about it though.
No, I mean, like I said, Mad Max was great, but yeah, I can't remember the last new franchise that was introduced that just blew
Dude,
everybody
Pixar
away.
was putting out news Inside Out, dog. It just came out.
I'm talking about a franchise, something that's here's the new Star Wars, something that the entire culture can band around. I feel like
John Wick, man. We're doing a second John Wick
John
movie.
Wick.
I mean, yeah, but that's not that many people saw it. I mean, I'm talking about something that the whole culture can just come together and
Something that comes and just changes the world
yeah,
and
there
pop
has-
culture
we're
as
the
you know
Marvel
it.
movies.
We're so obsessed with nostalgia.
Frozen.
Frozen?
Frozen.
Again, that doesn't unite everybody.
I would say Marvel is what you're
Frozen
talking
doesn't
about.
unite
know.
everybody.
I think
You
so.
know,
I think,
Frozen was
maybe I think
spooky.
you're just the exception.
Dude.
That's
Marvel is literally doing that.
Yeah.
They're not. I
we
mean,
live in a
other-
post-Marvel society. I think movies will
But those
not be the
characters have
same.
been around for
So
decades
what?
and decades.
Not cinematic.
So
you
it's not cinematic. Not that they're not. It's not a reboot. That was an adaptation.
I'm talking about just a new idea that
Look,
changes everything.
I'll tell you what, this is
know what I
interesting,
mean?
and we should get into this on another podcast because you could fill up a whole hour with this. But
Yeah.
that's interesting. Let's put a pin in that for next time.
Faux show.
But we do need to wrap this up.
Very well.
Do we have any other announcements? Any other videos coming out this week? What do you guys got going on in film school?
Film school, we just wrapped up our month of podcasts. So next week we're coming back with tutorials. We have I'm not going to say what it is, but
Okay.
it's a big one.
Boom. And where can everyone go sign up with the forums and whatnot?
You can go to for the forums, go
Yeah.
to discuss.rocketjump.com and say hi. We are all on there.
And the school
occasionally.
URL?
School.rocketjump.com. It's
There you
like a
go.
quiz.
Yeah.
There you go.
John, you've already given us the lowdown on what you got going on. Anything else we should know about?
No.
Keep your eyes peeled for more
yeah.
this week. Yeah, the next two are epic.
Yeah, it's called Laser War. Just
Yeah.
get ready. It's insane.
Yeah.
More.
Will? You and I have this thing that we're not allowed.
We're
to
working
talk
on
about
a thing. It's going to be dope.
We went around and did what's some refer to as the water bottle tour. We went to all the major
water bottle
the
tour.
networks and distributors in town.
We've been pitching our
this-
next show.
This
the next
top
big
secret,
Rocket Jump
big Rocket Jump
the
show.
follow-up to Video
and
Game
everyone,
High School.
Yep, everyone loves it. So we will be announcing something really big really soon. Where are you guys at on the Twitters?
At Cherish Chen / at RJ Film School.
Boom. They've got at Will Campos over here. I'm at Dez Dolly.
At Ruby Dog.
At Ruby Dog Movies. Thank you guys very much for joining us. Thank you everyone who's watching and listening at home. Don't forget to check out rocketjump.com. Subscribe to the iTunes podcast. It helps us out. And thanks again for your time. Take care. Have a good week.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.